it over here. Well, it says it's live. Why isn't it?
Yeah, I can't pause it either. No, there it is.
There it goes. Okay, everybody. I am your host, Roger Belt, and my partner host is Miss Christina Corzetti.
Hello, everybody.
We want to welcome you to the Paranormal Graveyard one more time. We have an interesting show for you tonight, and I hope you guys like strange deaths because we're talking about. Okay, everybody. I am your host, Roger. Somebody's.
I got it. All set. It unpaused on me.
Okay. Anyway, as I were saying, we're going to be talking about strange deaths, and at the end of what we have to talk about, there's some facts and stuff, and we'll go over probably a few of those too. I'm going to let my partner in crime over there give us the lead in, and we'll get rolling.
All right. Well, we all are aware of the fact that death is going to lay its icy cold hands on every living creature, irrespective of caste, creed, financial background, or any other criteria based on which humans distinguish themselves from another. The only thing that remains uncertain is its coming. But it is certain that no one can escape from its clutches. Death may be due to a number of reasons like aging, malnutrition, disease, or even murder. It may even approach an individual in a manner that is very unusual, something that no one could ever imagine. Well, tonight's show focuses on such unusual deaths, which at first may seem hard to believe, but in reality have actually taken place.
Okay, that's awesome, isn't it? It is believed Arius presbyter, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it, of Alexandria may have ingested poison before his gruesome death. He was walking across the imperial forum in Constantinople when he suffered sudden diarrhea following, I know it's not funny, but it is, followed by hemorrhaging, eventually causing his intestines to be expelled from his anus. Oh, God.
Well, that's from having the sudden diarrhea. I guess it must have flushed right through his body.
Talk about a hemorrhoid.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, hemorrhoids, people. We're talking about hemorrhoids tonight.
Now, these first ones are from way, way back. You know, they're old, ancient deaths.
King Adolf Frederick of Sweden didn't die hungry. The king suffered fatal digestion problems after eating caviar, sauerkraut, smoked herring, and champagne lobster, and 14 servings of his favorite dessert served in a bowl of hot milk. Swedish children today still remember him as the king who ate himself to death. Now, there's a similar story. I can't remember who the king was, but they actually have his colon.
Really?
In the Smithsonian, I think.
Wow.
Or his large intestine. Whichever. Anyway, they warned him about eating so much, and he kept on, and he kept on, and he kept on. Well, his large intestine swelled up so big, I guess it caused his death or whatever. But they wound up they have his large intestine or colon, whatever the heck it is, in the Smithsonian, and it's huge. You'll see a picture of it. Just another interesting tidbit to throw in. Okay, it was rumored that King Edward II of England was murdered by having a red-hot iron inserted into his anus. Before his death, Edward was dethroned and imprisoned by his wife, Queen Isabella, and her lover, Roger Mortimer.
Red hot iron.
Could you imagine having a red hot iron stuck up your... Ow! Dang! I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. Be careful what you wish for. American revolutionary James Otis Jr. often told his friends that he wanted to be killed by a bolt of lightning. When his time arrived, his wish came true when he was standing in the doorway of his friend's house and lightning struck the chimney. Wow. Okay, one more, then I'm going to let Christina get into some of this because I like the way she talks. I like the way you talk.
Oh, why, thank you.
U.S. Congressman Clement, now see if I get this right, Vallandigham was defending a murder suspect in court when he argued that the victim could have accidentally shot himself while drawing his gun. In an attempt to reenact the scene, he drew his gun, which he believed to be unloaded, and accidentally discharged, killing him. Needless to say, he won the case. I bet.
It's pretty wild. Oh,
Barry said, reminds me of the car dealer story, cheating on his wife. She used a red hot curling iron. I still can't get over that one, sticking a red hot iron up somebody. Oh, God.
Do I have an echo? Oh, no, it disappeared. Okay. Well, infamous Russian mystic Grigory Rasputin reportedly survived being poisoned by a group of nobles, only to be shot 4 times, beaten, and flung into a freezing river. An autopsy revealed he died of hypothermia. That was Rasputin.
He was shot 4 times. And beaten,
yeah.
But he died of hypothermia.
But he died of hypothermia, yep. Truly a sticky situation. The Boston molasses disaster of 1919 killed 21 people and injured 150 when a tank holding over 2 million gallons of molasses exploded. The blast sent a wave of the vicious substance through the city at a speed of about 35 miles per hour.
Okay. Now there's one where you could eat yourself to death.
Molasses, that's sticky.
Molasses, that is.
They say laughter is the best medicine, but apparently too much of it can kill you. Alex Mitchell of England learned this the hard way after laughing nonstop for 25 minutes during a comedy show called The Goodies. He died of heart failure from lack of oxygen.
Damn. All right, don't say anything funny, y'all. I don't want to laugh myself to death.
25 minutes is all it takes to laugh?
25 minutes and you run out of oxygen because you're like, and I have laughed hard for I don't know how long a time, but it seemed like a long time because I couldn't stop laughing. I mean, there's some things that are so funny you just can't stop laughing. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, picky eaters take note. Austrian-American logician Kurt Gödel died of starvation while his wife was being hospitalized. He suffered from extreme paranoia and refused to eat unless his wife prepared the food. So I guess he wouldn't eat anything, and I guess he died from starvation.
Basically, he decided, well, if I can't eat her cooking, I'm just going to starve.
That's crazy.
I'm saying.
All right. Got one more for you here. American author Tennessee Williams made a habit of holding the cap of his eye drop bottle between his teeth while he inserted his eye drops. This ritual ultimately caused his death one night in a New York hotel room. That must have got lodged in his throat.
Yeah, I was just fixing to say either he accidentally drank it or he inhaled the bottle or something and got it hung in his throat or something like that. That'd be pretty cruel way to go. Hey, Paul. And Ashlyn Paranormal, hello to you too. Glad you made it. Okay. Picky eaters, take note. She just
No, no,
did.
no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. American author Tennessee Williams. We did that. I got to get connected.
Arnold.
Where am I?
Uh,
Convicted murderer Michael Anderson Goodwin faced the death penalty until his sentence was changed to life imprisonment in 1983. However, while adjusting the earphones plugged into his prison cell's TV 6 years later, he bit into a wire and died. He had been sitting on a steel-rimmed toilet at the time of his death and died of electrocution. Ow!
yeah, isn't
In
it
a,
amazing that you can go through life,
yeah,
and you die of these little things, huh?
well, being on death row, getting your sentence overturned to a life sentence, which meant that apparently at some point you could actually get a parole.
Uh-huh.
And then sit on a toilet seat back into a wire to fry yourself. That's, yeah, okay. That's a bit much. In an attempt to prove to a group of visitors that the glass of the Toronto Dominion Center was unbreakable, 38-year-old Gary Hoy threw himself against a window. He fell to his death from the 24th floor when the window popped out of the frame. In his defense, the glass did not break. Oh, that's bad. That's sad, people. All right, don't be throwing yourself against no windows. They might not break, but they'll pop out on you. Burned, B-E-R-N-D, burned Jürgen Brandes of Germany was stabbed repeatedly before being partially eaten by Armin Muse.
Yeah, he's the cannibal.
It was later discovered that the two had agreed to this arrangement on the internet, and Brandes had explicitly written in his will that he wished to be murdered and eaten.
Now, can you imagine? There's actually a forum for this. There's actually a forum for cannibalism, and you can sit there and say, yes, I'm going to come over and you can eat me. And they made an agreement, and they came over and they ate him.
That gives whole new meaning to that sarcastic phrase, eat me.
But just the fact that there's a place to go is just beyond.
Right. That's, yeah, okay. Kente Gowan Mallard hit Gregory Biggs, a homeless man, with her car on her way home. He became lodged in the windshield, but suffered no instantly fatal injuries. However, he died of his injuries a few hours later when Mallard left her car in the garage with Biggs still stuck in the windshield. Who in the heck is gonna? Oh my God! Who in the heck's gonna leave a body stuffed in the windshield, especially if they're alive?
She went inside, and I think she actually had sex with her boyfriend and ate and stuff, and then came back out and he was dead. Or something.
That's sick.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the under the covers thing myself, but I'm not gonna leave a live body stuck in my windshield so I can go do that.
People are sick.
God. Okay, one more for you. A drunken man from St. Petersburg, Russia, was having an argument with his wife one night. In anger, his wife kicked that handle of the folding couch he was lying on, and it trapped him in the wall. She returned 3 hours later to find him dead. Okay. Well, I would think that a grown man
Would be able to get out of that, right?
would be able to push that open. Or,
yeah, what's up? I'm at the bulldog. I need one.
Or did it like maybe give him a concussion when it slammed shut, his head hit the back wall or something, and now that's a possibility.
I don't know. It says trapped. don't know how you can hit that thing, recline, and be trapped against the
It sounded like
wall.
there was somebody else in here.
What's that?
It sounded like there was somebody else talking in here.
Oh no, I have company.
Oh, okay. Freaked me
Yeah.
out for a minute there.
No, it's on my end.
Okay.
Okay, so a 20-year-old, let's see, where are we? Okay, a 28-year-old Russian man bet two women he could have nonstop sex with them for 12 hours. He won the $4,300 bet only to suffer a heart attack several minutes later because the entire bottle of Viagra he had digested before the challenge.
Oh my God. If you have an erection that lasts more than 4 hours, go to your doctor.
But not take a whole bottle.
This guy took a whole bottle. He's going to have one that's going to last 6 freaking months.
That's crazy. All right, let me see here. Jimmy Helsden, owner of the Segway motorized scooter company, died when he accidentally drove his Segway off a cliff.
Okay. Now, who's going to how do you accidentally drive a thing off?
Well, do you ever see those Segways? You don't have really, if you're not good at it. I mean, he's the owner of the company, but I mean, that's kind of ironic that the owner of the company died with his own product.
Exactly. But how do you accidentally drive something off a cliff?
Hey,
You
how
know-
do you accidentally put a car in reverse in drive when you're looking backwards? Same thing as an accident, right?
I guess. I don't know. There's some weird stuff happens in this world.
Well, these are strange deaths. The Swedish proverb is right. A beard does not necessarily denote wisdom. Hans Steininger, 16th century Austrian man, renowned for his 4.5-foot beard, found this out the hard way when he forgot to roll up his beard to escape a fire. He stepped on it, causing him to lose his balance, break his neck, and die.
Now, that's bad. Your own beard breaking your damn neck. I'm sorry, that's funny. It is. I'm sorry. You should have a beard that damn long.
4.5 feet?
Yeah, right. Well, if his beard was 4.5 feet,
How big was he?
man, an extremely short fella.
Exactly, right?
My grandmother was 4'2".
I'm only 5'2".
And she was very short. But you didn't want to take her off, I promise you.
Yeah, 4.5 foot beard. He must have been really short. Well, in 19, yeah,
He tripped over it and broke his neck.
yeah, can you imagine?
Uh,
Okay, in 1911,
the lollipop guilt. No.
Daredevil Bobby Leach became the second person ever to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel. He went on to defy death several more times throughout his life during other stunts. But death snuck up on him one day when he slipped on an orange peel and broke his leg so badly it had to be amputated. He died due to complications from the surgery, reminding everyone that death can come when we least expect it.
That is so true. True.
I mean, can you imagine going over the Niagara Falls? I went to Niagara Falls myself. I seen that. And, he dies from an orange peel, slipping on an orange peel.
No eyeballs in a barrel.
Yeah.
You did?
All right, I got one more for you here. Singapore Zoo janitor Norden Montong committed suicide in 2008 by entering the white tiger enclosure and provoking them with brooms and a pail until he was mauled to death.
What kind of idiot is he?
You're so funny, Roger.
You carry the bullwhip. Everybody knows that. Brooms and
He had so good way to commit suicide, right?
He was a damn pail piss in it when they scared him to death.
Well, the whole point was to die by lion, right?
Okay. That was a little bit out there. That was retarded. You're supposed to use a carrot or whip. What's wrong with these people? Brothers Homer and Langley Collier would have been excellent candidates for a modern-day hoarding show The two obsessively collected junk, even created booby traps to protect their prized possessions from intruders. One day, Langley accidentally set off one of his own booby traps while crawling through a tunnel of newspapers to bring food to his paralyzed brother. He died instantly, and Homer died of starvation a few days later. It took police nearly 2 weeks to uncover Langley's body after removing 100 tons of garbage from the house. Okay, don't be a hoarder. Just saying, people. Sigurd the Mighty, second Viking Earl of Orkney, decapitated his enemy and attached the head to his horse's saddle. The head's teeth grazed against his leg as he rode, causing a fatal infection that cost him his life.
Can you imagine? You're carrying a decapitated head on the horse, and the teeth keep digging into you, and that's how you die.
You're riding along with the head attached to your saddle, it's gnawing on your leg. Yeah, okay, that's a good one. I like that. Okay, the lifeguards of I just picture his head gnawing on his leg. The lifeguards of the New Orleans Recreation Department threw a pool party to celebrate their first drowning-free season ever. That's fun. I want to go there.
All right.
Despite the fact that more than half of the people in attendance were lifeguards, and there were 4 lifeguards on duty during the party, the body of a 31-year-old man who had drowned was discovered at the bottom of the pool. Okay, so now they're celebrating a year with no drownings.
Correct. And they're all lifeguards there.
And they're all lifeguards, and there was lifeguards on duty, and they found a body at the bottom of the pool. Now tell me that sucker ain't been there for a freaking year. Just saying.
It's ironic, right?
You know, that, a man from Cheshire, England, was roasted alive inside an industrial oven after going in to clean it. The oven was switched on by colleagues who did not know he was inside, and he tried unsuccessfully to break out with a crowbar before dying.
Why would you have a crowbar in the oven if you're cleaning it?
Well, if he was in there, that's a damn good question now that you mention that. See, if he was in there cleaning, he would have brushes and rags and shit.
Right? Why does he have a crowbar?
And that one guy's pail and broom. Okay. Take it away there, Snidley.
Okay, well, these names are unbelievable, but Emroy E. Potter, a 45-year-old man from Philadelphia, died of a heart attack 3 hours after his daughter. His daughter, Mary Ann, 8, seriously ill from streptococcus infection, told her mother hours before she died, "I wouldn't mind dying only if Papa would go along with me." So here's a case where she was 8 years old, she was dying, and she says, "I will only die if my Papa goes along with me." And I guess 3 hours after his daughter did, the Papa had a heart attack and died.
Wow, that's an interesting one there.
Yeah. Takua Nagaya, 23, from Japan, started to slither on the floor and talk about becoming a snake. His mother took this to mean that he had been possessed by a snake demon and called for her husband, 53-year-old Katsumi Nagaya, who spent the next 2 days physically beating his son in an attempt to exorcise the demon. This killed the guy, basically.
Wow.
That's crazy.
See, everything is not a freaking demon, people. Good God.
I know, right? A snake demon, and he was trying to beat it out of him, and that's what killed him.
Yeah, killed his own son trying to beat a demon out of him just because he said he wanted to be a snake.
Yeah.
He might have been playing, right?
Yeah, he was probably playing, slithering on the floor, you know. Okay, a chef named Pen Fan died after he was bitten by a venomous snake 20 minutes after he had cut his head off while preparing snake soup at a restaurant in China.
Wow. He had cut the snake's head off, but the snake still bit him.
It still bit him, and he died, yeah.
Huh.
All right, let's see. A husband, 31, and his wife, 26, driving in separate cars, collided head on with each other and both died in Texas. I remember this. This is one of the coincidences. They were fighting. They both got in separate cars. They were driving. They actually collided with each other unannounced and unknown that there was the husband and wife, and they ended up both dying in the car accident.
That's weird. Now, in order to do this, they would have had to have, like maybe a circle drive, and she went out in one direction, he went out in the other, and they both turned back going the other way and nailed each other.
Yeah.
You know, or something to that effect. Because how else could they have wound up heading towards each other?
Well, it's a head-on collision. Yeah, that's true. They'd have to, it could be coming from opposite directions. All right, back to 1755, a person named Henry Hall, which was 94 years old, who was the oldest known member of the Hall family of lighthouse keepers that kept lights around the English and Welsh coast, lost his life due to ingestion of a melted lead. It all started when a spark in the lamp had set the roof alight, and eventually the whole of Rudyard's tower was engulfed in flames. He tried putting the fire out, but eventually was forced to retreat down the tower. Not knowing what was lying in his destiny, he looked up at the lighthouse when a molten lead directly fell into his throat that later caused his death. That piece of lead is now retained in the collections of the National Museum of Scotland.
I would imagine. That's weird. That was like really weird.
All right, I got one more for you here. The American Revolutionary, James Otis Jr., hoped his death to come by a bolt of lightning and often told his friends and relatives about it. On May 23rd, 1783, suddenly his wish was fulfilled when the lightning struck the chimney of a friend's house in whose doorway he was standing, and he is reported to have told his sister, "My dear sister, I hope in God Almighty and His righteous providence shall take me out of time into eternity that will be by a flash of lightning." He died at the age of 58.
I think we had already done that one, but this
No.
was a longer version. Okay. Hope you guys are enjoying this so far. We're these are some weird deaths, I'm telling you. During the year 1877, an incident took place at Deadwood, South Dakota. Draw your pistols. You gonna draw them pistols or whistle Dixie? On the 14th of January, 1887, where a person named David Lunt was shot in the saloon fight, a person named Tom Smith suddenly entered the saloon with a handgun and affirmed that if anybody moved, he would shoot them. Con Stapleton, group member with David Lunt, grabbed Tom Smith and tried to disarm him. During the course of action, the bullet was shot from the handgun and it hit Dave Lunt and struck his forehead. David survived the incident. Thereafter, he started doing his everyday routine chores when all of a sudden, after a period of 67 days, he felt a terrible headache and died on 22nd March 1887. As per the autopsy report, David died due to the bullet shot, but nobody could determine the reason as to how he survived for such a long period after the incident. Well, I have a theory on that. That's like you could get shot and a bullet not hit a vital organ, but maybe it's lodged so close to one that if by any reason or whatever it's a shift, it could damage one, causing you to die. Maybe, I don't know. A head injury like that, maybe it was in a certain part of his brain, and it by some of his movements, he shook it or something, and it caused a problem. I don't know. That's weird. It's hard to explain. The Formula One race driver, Alan Stacey, was killed during the Belgian Grand Prix race in the year 1960. He was driving Lotus 18 Climax and his car crashed at a speed of 190 kilometers per hour, or 120 miles an hour. Because of a bird which flew down and hit his face. Alan had an artificial leg and he conspired with his teammates to fool medical examination. Alan died within a few minutes from the car crash. The Lotus is still in the hands of the Stacey family and it makes occasional appearances on the track. Okay. He got killed because a bird hit him in the face.
And then he crashed his car. That's what I'm assuming.
So what does that have to do with an artificial leg or any of that stuff, I wonder?
No.
Why did they even bring that up? An old public prosecutor named Gary Hoy died in order to prove that his glass was indestructible. The unpleasant incident took place in the year 1993 when Gary threw himself against the window of a small meeting room, which was located on the 24th floor of Toronto Dominion Center, just to prove to a group of visitors about his window glass being indestructible. The tragedy took place when the glass did not break, but the glass popped out of the window frame, and he is known for his situation.
Oh, you know what? A couple of these may have been, that was a repeat. A couple of these
Yeah. I thought that one was familiar. Considered by historians to be their first superstar in American baseball, Jim Crichton died as he suffered from ruptured abdominal hernia while hitting a home run. He swung his baseball too hard that he injured himself and ruptured his bladder, which caused him eternal injury. The incident took place on 14th October 1862 when Jim was playing a match against the Union of Mauritania. He died after 4 days of injury in his home on 18th October 1862. Okay, I'm not sure I understand, because it said he was hitting a home run, then it says he was throwing like he was pitching, so I'm not sure.
We're going to skip a couple of these because they're repeats. Yeah, basically, I don't know. You got me on that one.
Okay, one more for you. Did we do
37.
the pizza?
Yeah, do 37.
Huh?
37, because the last two are repeats. The next two are repeats, so do 37.
37.
37.
What are we talking about? 37.
A pizza man delivery.
Oh, that's where I was. A pizza delivery man in Erie, Pennsylvania was killed by a time bomb that was fastened around his neck. He was apprehended by the police after robbing a bank and claimed he had been forced to do it by 3 people who had put the bomb around his neck, and it would kill him if he refused. The bomb later exploded, killing him in 2007. Police alleged Wells was involved in the robbery plot along with the other 2 conspirators. Why would okay, if it wasn't like the guy said where he was, forced to have this thing around his neck and have to obey what he was told, why would a person risk putting a bomb around a real active live bomb around their neck and go in and rob a bank? What if the guard on duty or whatever whipped out his pistol, shot at the guy, and exploded the bomb? So it just don't make sense to do something like that. I would go along with what he said. I think he was forced into it. Just, Okay, one more for you. An American 13-year-old hockey fan died 2 days after being struck in the head by a hockey puck shot by Epson Knutson at a game in Columbus, Ohio.
That would suck.
Yeah, if you're going to die of something, might as well be a hockey puck to the head, right? I mean, eh.
All right, well, let's see what we have next. Died in police custody at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. Police claim she asphyxiated herself with the chain that connected her handcuffs to the bench that she's been chained to.
So, in other words, she killed herself. She committed suicide.
Yep.
Fun.
Chambers, Nebraska, I guess died after a 75-foot tall Taco Bell sign fell on top of the truck cab she was in. Strong winds caused the pole to break at a welded joint about 15 feet above the ground.
Okay. Well, they say tacos and stuff like that will kill you.
But that would stink, though, being crushed like that.
Yeah. And when I say this stuff, you guys, I'm just being humorous. I mean, I don't mean any disrespect for anybody that passed away or anything like that. So don't take it like that.
All right, let's see. A surgeon was decapitated as he stepped onto an elevator at Christus St. Joseph Hospital in Houston, Texas, August 16, 2003. According to the witness inside the elevator door closed as the person, Nicado, how's that, entered, trapping his head inside the elevator with the remainder of his body still outside. Now, his body was later found at the bottom of the elevator shaft, while the upper portion of his head, severed just above the lower jaw, was found in the elevator. An investigation revealed that improper electrical wiring installed by the maintenance company several days earlier had effectively bypassed all the elevator's safeguards and thus enabling it to move under any circumstances.
Ow, that would hurt.
Oh, yeah. But you hear about it all the time, people getting decapitated by elevators. I don't understand how that can happen.
Well, and you see a lot of that in horror movie stuff, too. What was that one horror movie where the woman was gonna try to crawl out of the elevator and it started moving again? It cut her head off.
I don't know.
Oh, it was one of those. Oh, dang it! My daughter had all in movies where somebody didn't die when they were supposed to, and then death gets them later on.
I don't know.
Final Destination. Yeah. It was one of those movies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. Let's see. A 7-year-old girl in Japan died when she was sucked 10 meters down the intake pipe.
There's Frank. Hey, Frank.
What's that? Oh, there's Frank. Oh, hi, Frank. Okay, so she was sucked down the intake pipe of a current pool at a water park. The grill that was meant to cover the inlet came off, yet lifeguards at the pool at the time deemed it safe after issuing a verbal warning to the swimmers. It took rescuers more than 6 hours to remove her by digging through the concrete to access the pipe. So can you imagine swimming at a park and getting sucked down into the pipe?
Right.
All right, let's see. I got one more for you here. A Kenyan student living in British Columbia, Canada, was killed when a Bell 206 helicopter crashed on top of him as he walked along the residential street.
A helicopter fell on him.
Yeah, can you imagine walking down the street and next thing you know you're dead because a helicopter came and crashed on top of you?
No shit.
Yeah, it happened.
Helicopters make me nervous anyway. I don't know why, but they just do. Okay, 73 Tordon, Ohio. died of heart failure after his wife exercised him to death in a public swimming pool. Christine Newton John, 41, was seen on a videotape pulling Mason around the pool and preventing him from getting out of the water 43 times.
No.
In other words, she killed the guy.
Basically, she wouldn't let him out of the water, and after 43 times of that, he just died from exhaustion.
A 19-year-old English hairdresser, only a hairdresser knows for sure, was killed when her car exploded after fumes caused by chemicals mixing with hydrogen peroxide leaking from a bottle of hair bleach ignited as she lit a cigarette. Don't smoke and drive. Stormed the cockpit door of a Southwest Airlines flight from Las Vegas to Salt Lake City. The 19-year-old was knocked over and pinned by 8 other passengers with such force that he died of asphyxiation. There you go, death by crowd.
Huh?
A sailor
Okay.
charged with murder killed himself in his Camp Pendleton, San Diego, California cell by stuffing toilet paper in his mouth until he asphyxiated.
Oh, jeez.
Now that's one that you don't hear every day. Hey, you guys, I think I'm gonna commit suicide. Got a roll of toilet paper? I need to wipe my face. A 6-year-old from Croydon on Hudson, New York, was struck and killed at a Westchester Regional Medical Center by a 6.5-pound metal oxygen tank when it was pulled into the magnetic resonance imaging MRI machine while he underwent a test. He began to experience breathing difficulties while the MRI, and when a technician brought a portable oxygen canister into the magnetic field, it was pulled from his hands and struck the boy in the head. Damn. That's be a heck of a way to go. You're in the hospital getting a test done, and a dead gum oxygen tank nails you.
Yeah, those MRIs ain't fun at all.
Frank said, reminds me of a call with the fire department I went on back years ago. Guy drowned, and we had to find the body. A rookie found him as he was pulling him in the boat. The body twitched. Ooh. And the rookie threw him back in the lake. Dang. That's bad, Frank. Bad. Not as bad as me, but bad. While walking on a street in Townsville, Australia, it says 42. I don't get it. Some of these don't have names. While walking on a street in Townsville, Australia, was decapitated by a piece of steel pipe. A tractor pulling a commercial lawnmower had run over the pipe, fracturing it, sending pieces flying through the air. Now, stuff like that does happen.
Mm-hmm.
I remember something about a kid playing in the yard one day when his daddy was mowing, and he run over a piece of some kind of metal or something, and it slung it out, and it hit him in the head. So, I mean, stuff like that can happen easily. I wouldn't let my kids play out in the yard if I was mowing or anything like that, you know. Or okay, died after being trapped inside a cupboard for a week. A wardrobe in the bedroom outside had fallen over, trapping him inside. In an effort to free himself, McClagish accidentally wrenched a water pipe from the wall, and the water gushing from the pipe eventually caused his death from bronchitis. His body was not discovered until 2 weeks later. Ugh. Hope it wasn't very hot in there. Okay, one more. An Australian television personality, a naturalist known as the crocodile hunter, everybody remembers him,
Oh, yeah.
died when his heart was impaled by a short-tailed stingray barb while filming a documentary entitled Ocean's Deadliest in Queensland's Great Barrier Reef. I always thought a snake killed him.
No, it was a stingray.
Huh.
Yeah, it was a stingray.
Or something new. I could have swore it was a snake bite because he was always messing with the snakes and stuff.
Yeah, well, the alligators, I thought, but.
Yeah. Well, an alligator. You get close enough for an alligator to get a hold of you, you ain't got to worry about anything else. Do the old spin and dive and bury you in the bottom of the wherever Amazon.
All right. Well, a Ukrainian student died after accidentally dipping a piece of homemade chewing gum into explosives he was using on another project. He mistook the jar of explosive for citric acid, which was also on his desk. The gum exploded, blowing off his jaw and most of the lower part of his face.
Ow!
Now, see, from what I understand, there is no accidents. What happens to you when you die, or your death, it's meant to be is what's supposed to happen. So it's kind of wild.
That one reminds me of the one Three Stooges skit where they had Curly had like two different things there, and I think Mo dipped something in one of them, and it was supposed to be coffee, and it was paint or something.
Well, this is by far one of the most bizarre incidents among of all other famous death stories. Rumor has it that Napoleon suffered from a very bad cough, and it was during a particularly bad coughing fit that he exclaimed, "Ma secreto." To his officers who were all awaiting orders, he was saying, "My damn cough." However, his officers took his words as massacre tos, meaning massacre all. So his officers, following their leader's orders, executed 1,200 prisoners that day, to be the worst case of misinterpretation ever. So he was yelling, "My cough, my damn cough," and they mistook his words, and they ended up shooting 1,200 people for it.
Wow.
On 15th April 1947, French Grand Camp arrived at the dock of Texas City carrying 1,400 tons of ammonium nitrate fertilizer. During the night, a fire broke out on the ship. By morning, the ship was pouring out black smoke and was dangerously close to the Monsanto chemical plant. Tugboats prepared to take the ship out to sea, but it was too late, and the freighter was suddenly engulfed in a ball of fire. A huge wall of fire emanated from the wreckage, heading straight for the chemical plant. Within minutes, it exploded, killing and maiming hundreds of workers and spectators. This may seem like some aggravated scene from the movie Battleship, but this horrible death story didn't end there. At midnight, another freighter carrying more nitrate fertilizer arrived, and the whole sequence of events started again.
Wow. Double indemnity, huh?
Let's see.
Mary said she saw the picture. It was awful.
Oh, geez. I'm skipping that one because that's a repeat. All right. Let's see. This death story is not only highly bizarre, but also a warning about the risks of vanity. Lady Coventry, a.k.a. Maria Gunning, was a celebrated beauty of her time. She devoted herself to applying pasty white makeup to her face and red rouge on her cheeks, a highly fashionable look for women throughout the 17th and 18th century. Unfortunately, the makeup was lead-based, and despite her husband's countless attempts to stop her wearing it, she refused to heed his warning and died at the age of 27 from lead poisoning. She went from being known as the beautiful but vain woman to the victim of cosmetics.
That's just creepy, ain't it? Yeah, I think I'm gonna put on some makeup. Oh!
27, that's young.
I'm saying.
All right. Canadian folk singer Taylor Mitchell became the first person attacked and killed by a pack of coyotes. Mitchell was hiking alone in the Canadian wilderness, specifically in Cape Breton Highlights National Park, on the afternoon of October 27th, when she was reportedly followed by a group of 3 coyotes, an unusual behavior for these animals that normally avoid humans. Mitchell suffered bite wounds to most of her body and head and bled to death.
Hey,
Let's see here. Truls Hellevik, a Norwegian diver working aboard the oil rig Byford Dolphin, had just returned from a dive with 3 other divers. They were all in a decompression chamber system attached by a short passage called the trunk to a diving bell on the rig. Suddenly, the chamber explosively decompressed from 9 atmospheres to 1 in a split second. All the divers were killed, as one of the tenders helping them. A second tender was seriously injured. Now, Hellevik, however, had been exposed to the highest pressure gradient, and the internal gases in his body expanded massively and rapidly. His body literally exploded from the inside out. His body
wow.
parts rained down onto the rig. One part of him even found laying on the rig's direct 10 meters directly above the chambers.
That's gross, sick, and I don't want to go there.
Well, I mean,
I
that's...
need not to dive on that shit.
All right, I got one more for you here. In a scene that could have been taken straight out of 6 Feet Under, Humberto Hernandez of Oakland, California, died instantly when he was struck on the head by a flying 200-pound fire hydrant as he was walking with his wife. The fire hydrant became a deadly missile when a Ford Escape blew a tire and swerved on the sidewalk, crashing into the hydrant. Water pressure and the impact of the crash sent the hydrant on a trajectory like a missile, killing Hernandez, then ricocheting off his head before crashing through a fence. His wife was unharmed.
Wow.
All you need to do is be walking down the street and bam.
Yeah. Well, you remember some of those movies about, and they were meant to be like comical or whatever, but where people walking under the piano that's being raised up to the window.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know, so many stories up and the rope breaks and it falls. I wonder if anybody actually ever really did die from that. That'd be interesting to find out. Joa Maria de Souza.
How'd you loving these names, Roger?
Yeah, I love it.
Tongue twisters.
Now I got to go back to school so I can pronounce them.
I know, right?
Caratinga in southeast Brazil died an unusual death in July 2013. De Souza, 45, was in bed with his wife when a 1.5-ton cow came crashing through the roof and fell on them. That's where that cow went that jumped over the moon.
Like jumping over the moon.
Anyway, the cow had escaped from a nearby farm, wandered onto De Souza's property, and walked into De Souza's corrugated roof from a small hill that sits tightly behind the house. The roof, unable to hold the massive weight of the bovine, gave way and the animal dropped 8 feet onto the sleeping couple. Both cow and De Souza's wife were unharmed. Okay, yeah, now I know where that cow went to jump over the moon.
Yep.
Made it into Souza's bed. Dying while moving your bowels is probably one of the most, and I felt like I was dying sometimes when I was midnight. Probably one of the most embarrassing ways to leave this earth. Historically, many people have died while using the porcelain god. But the case of Michael Anderson Goodwin takes the cake. Why would you be eating cake on the damn John? Goodwin was convicted of murder in South Carolina, but somehow managed to elude the death penalty by the electric chair. Alas, his luck would soon run out. Godwin was repairing his TV set while sitting on the metal toilet in his cell when he
This is the repeat.
did that one, but
Yeah.
it's still funny.
Yeah.
It told it a different way. Oh, my goodness, some of this shit's funny. In 2014, Denver St. Clair died when his stepson gave him an automatic wedgie.
Atomic.
Atomic wedgie, I'm sorry. That's better than automatic. The elastic band of his underwear was pulled over his head and around his neck, asphyxiating him. The stepson, 33-year-old Bradley Davis, has been charged with first-degree murder. Murder by wedgie. Damn, I never thought of that one.
Hey, it happens.
Okay. Onward and upward. In 1993, Gary Hoy, we did that one.
Okay, yeah, we did that one 3 times.
In 1927, famed dancer Isadora Duncan got her scarf trapped around the open spoked wheels and rear axle of an ammo car while in motion, was violently hurled from the car and broke her neck.
Ouch.
In 1816, founding father Governor Morris stuck a whalebone through his urinary tract to alleviate a blockage and died of internal injury. Really?
Why would you do
I know whether there's a blockage.
that?
In 1567, the Burgermeister, I was thinking of Burgermeister, you remember? Okay, the Burgermeister.
You're cracking me up, Roger.
The Burgermeister of Verona, Hans Vinegar, tripped over his
Yeah.
beard. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's the one that's short.
That's what happens when you're a Burgermeister.
I'm sorry. All
In
right.
155 BC, the Athenian tragedian, how the heck is that? Man, y'all gonna have to start speaking English. Attempting to avert a prophecy that foretold his death by a falling object, stepped outside his home and had his skull crushed by a falling tortoise. Dropped by an eagle. Now that beats any damn thing. You guys, outside, you might get killed by a tortoise dropped by an eagle.
Yeah, you never know.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
Real quick before I go any further, I'm watching the Paranormal Graveyard on YouTube live, and we are talking about strange deaths, and some of them are so damn funny I can't quit laughing. I mean, but I know they're not, but they are. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. Anyway, during a 1998 soccer match, I think we did this, didn't we?
I don't know.
No.
I don't think so.
In Congo, a lightning strike was responsible for the deaths of the members of an entire soccer team. At a tied game 1-1, when the lightning struck, the game was soon tragically over for the 11-member Bena Tashati team, while the lightning also burned 31 other people, and around the field, the home team was left physically unharmed, albeit accused of witchcraft. Huh. Wow. That's interesting. Okay, one more for you. Considered one of the greatest poets in Chinese history, it was fittingly his unyielding pursuit of poetry that contributed to his own end. By Poe's untimely demise came one night by drowning in the Yangtze River after he fell from his boat in an attempt to embrace the reflection of the moon in the water. Well, you dumb shit. I can't help it. Some of the stuff is so stupid, it's funny.
Yeah, but it actually happened. All right, skipping that one. Let's see. Despite
The
after,
reflection of the moon in the dang water.
yeah,
Boat over it because, yeah, okay.
oh, babies. All right. Despite being known as the great ruler of the extensive Hunnic Empire and one of the most feared enemies of the Western and Eastern Roman empires, Attila's death was markedly less epic. According to historical accounts, during a feast celebrating his last marriage, Attila suffered a severe nosebleed and choked to death. While alternative theories about ruptured veins and internal bleeding exist, Attila's death by nosebleed serves as the most widely accepted one.
Are we talking about Attila the Hun?
I don't know. I thought Attila was a girl, but I guess it's not. Okay, here's a good one. Chef Juan Ruiz was stabbed through the heart with uncooked spaghetti strands
Wow.
when 150 miles per hour winds hit his restaurant in Mexico City. 2 months later, a young employee of the Bennett Food Factory in the Bronx, New York, died instantly when he fell headfirst into an industrial dough mixer making macaroni and was impaled by the mixing blades.
Wow, that's weird.
Uncooked spaghetti going 150 miles an hour right through the heart, huh?
Okay, I usually like my spaghetti a little bit cooked, but to each his own.
Okay, here's another one. Salesman Rico Vogt choked to death in Pisa, Italy, when his tie got tangled in the blades of a food mixer he was demonstrating to a crowd in a shopping center.
His tie got tangled in the blades of a food mixer.
Yep.
Okay, well, now that's just interesting.
Now this next one,
Demonstration.
I know, right? That'd be hey, it happened. This next one, you can help me on this one, but the daughter of a woman who was killed when she fell down a cliff face blowhole in 1992 fell down the same blowhole 5 years later. She and another young woman were swept in the Pacific Ocean near Sydney.
Wow.
Now, what do they mean by a blowhole?
Uh,
What kind of blowholes are we talking about?
uh,
Face first into a blowhole that ended up sweeping her into the Pacific Ocean.
fell down a cliff face blowhole.
I don't know. I'm not in Australia, so I don't know what kind of blowholes they have out there.
And another woman was swept into the Pacific Ocean. Fell into 1992, fell down the same blowhole. Okay, maybe that's like a fell down a cliff blowhole. How the hell do you
I
call
don't
it?
know. We'll have to get some. I don't know what they have.
I was thinking it had to be on top of the cliff, and they fell down it, and it shot them out back into the ocean or something. I don't know.
We can't. Frank says we can't mention those blowholes on the air. He's
Because
right.
if you're falling over the side of a cliff, even if there's a cave or hole in the side of the cliff, how are you going to fall over the side of the cliff and fall into a hole like that?
And they get thrown out into the ocean. But then you're gonna die anyway. The Pacific Ocean's cold. I
Okay.
don't know. Let's see.
Kenneth Stevens.
Yeah, I got one more for you here. Kenneth Stevens, 19, was killed when his motorbike struck a bull on a country road near his home in Surbiton, Devon. It was almost a duplicate of the accident in the same spot 8 years before, which had killed his father, David. Driving home in the thick fog, his car struck a bull on the road and he was killed outright. It's like hitting a moose out in Maine.
That's weird stuff, though. Carlos Jimenez was freed by a court in Coro, Venezuela. after killing his wife Maria when he rolled over in bed and hit her with his elbow.
I'm sorry. I don't.
He must have had a hell of elbow. Either it was sharp pointed or it was like, about.
Must have hit her right in this certain spot, man. I don't know.
Or if he hit her in the temple, I guess it could, but I don't know.
See, you go to bed one night with your wife. Next thing you know, you're charged for murder.
Right. Or you go to bed with your wife and you don't wake up.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Okay. A devoted couple married for 44 years died within seconds of each other at their home in Hoyton, Merseyside. Margaret Connell, 63, collapsed after seeing her husband, Pat, 66, suffered a heart attack. Okay, at those ages, I can see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Also going together with Catherine Whisker and her husband, Leslie, Mrs. Whiskers. I'm sorry. Mrs. Whiskers was in a car following the ambulance carrying Leslie to the hospital when she turned to her son Paul and said she was feeling unwell. She too collapsed with a heart attack. The couple was admitted to the emergency unit and died within 5 minutes of each other. The Whiskers had been inseparable since childhood.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Poor couple. At least, they've been together since childhood and they died together within 5 minutes.
My Whiskers been inseparable until I put that razor on. Oh my God. That was funny. It wasn't funny, but it was. Okay, let me see if I pronounce this right. Thierry Segaud, 31, shot and killed his mother on September 6th after she gave him a haircut he did not like. Damn. In preparation for a local carnival in Nevers, France. His father tried to intervene and was also shot dead.
Wow.
Well, don't give your son a bad haircut. I'm saying, just, An unarmed 25-year-old Argentinian man pushed his wife out of the window of their 8th floor Buenos Aires airport
Apartment.
The damn Whiskers. As she fell, she got tangled in power cables. He plummeted to his death when he tried to free her, and his wife managed to pull herself up onto a balcony.
Now, can you picture that? I push my wife out a window. She gets tangled in some wires. I end up falling, dying, and then she goes back in the balcony.
No, that's not the worst part. You shove your wife out a window. She gets tangled up in power cables or cords. You try to save her and untangle her from the daggum power cables, and then you fall to your death and she gets up on the balcony and goes, haha, sucker.
I don't think he was saving her. I think he was trying to finish the job.
Well, maybe. Yeah, that's true. It could be. Pastor Michael Davis of the La Rose Christian Fellowship Church in Louisiana finished his sermon stripped down to his bathing trunks, exhorted the faithful to prepare for rebirth, and stepped into the pool where he intended to baptize a dozen of his flock. Unfortunately, his microphone was badly grounded. The resulting explosion left the pastor floating belly up and melted to the microphone. Ow! That would have to hurt. Okay, one more here. This reminds me of some of the things I used to read on the Darwin Awards website. Okay, one more for you. Exotic dancer Lucia Labella launched a new nightclub to act during which she whirled a pistol, but during her performance the gun went off and customer Mario Rosini 50 dropped dead. When charged with reckless endangerment, Lucia pleaded that she did not know the gun was loaded. I'm sorry, but wouldn't you automatically check to make sure you wasn't twirling a loaded gun on stage?
Okay, let's see. Stag party friends were curious when a stripper failed to jump out of a huge cake in Italy. They found her dead inside it. Gina Lalapola, 23, had suffocated after waiting for an hour inside the sealed cake.
Dang, they didn't have no air vent holes in there?
You'd think there would be.
No kidding.
See, a circus trainer's shiny new suit may have caused a Bengal tiger to attack him during a performance. Wayne Franson, 50, founder of Franson Brothers Circus, died within minutes after suffering a punctured lung and neck wounds before an audience of 200 children and their families at Broad Top City, Carltown, Pennsylvania. The 400-pound tiger, one of the three in the cage, attacked Franzen when he turned his back, then dragged him around the ring by his neck. The circus, which began in 1974, was one of the most respected of American mud shows.
Wow.
Joan Davy, 72, of Little Chalfont, Buckinghamshire, died after slipping in her bathroom and impaling herself on the toilet brush. It went straight through her eye, and 7 inches of it entered her brain. It is not known if she died instantly. Her body was found after worried neighbors telephoned police.
Okay, you got to say this stuff bloody right. It's the loo.
On the loo toilet brush?
The loo, yeah, the loo.
Well, a toilet brush is a toilet brush. I slip, it goes through my eye and goes 7 inches in my brain. I mean,
Right. Okay.
let's see. A man fell 200 feet to his death when his ride-on lawnmower went over a cliff. Ken Campbell, 55, had been cutting the grass at the holiday home at Port Angeles near Seattle. He turned sharply to avoid the cliff's edge, but the mower locked in high gear, rolled over, and tumbled down a sandstone bluff.
Ouch.
Let's see. 2010, a Russian by the name of Vladimir Ladinzinski died due to the burns he suffered after spending 6 minutes in a room temperature of 230 degrees Fahrenheit. Why would anyone do such a stupid thing? Well, he was a contestant at the World Sauna Championships in Finland. 230 Fahrenheit, that's pretty,
Oh my God.
pretty hot.
Are you watching the chat over here? Frank said nothing makes an occasion more festive than a dead stripper and a cake. And he said, do you tip them for that? I'm not sure how you do that occasion. And Mary said, well, if I was those guys, I'd ask for a refund.
I would ask for a refund. That's,
Oh my God.
you're supposed to have the stripper jump out of a cake and she's dead in it.
You guys are too much.
All right, let's see. Skipping that one, that's a repeat. Okay, George Plantagenet, Duke of Clarence, thought in 1478, when he heard that he was sentenced to death, he had but one request: to be drowned in a barrel of wine.
Okay, that's feasible. I could see that happening.
Okay, in 1649, Sir Arthur Anston was beaten to death with his own wooden leg.
Oh, no, that's bad. That's bad. Now, who's going to take somebody's wooden leg and beat them to death with it? You know, hell, at least use your own.
All right, I got one more for you here. Emperor Frederick Barbarossa led the life of a warrior till he died at the age of 68. He won battles, he lost some, but surprisingly enough, he didn't die on the battlefield. He and his men set camp on a riverbank, and when the emperor went to bathe and drink, the emperor neglected to take off his armor, making it impossible for him to escape the currents that took him underwater. His body was preserved in a barrel of vinegar.
Why would you want to preserve him in a barrel of vinegar? Anyway, well, I guess that's one way to mummify somebody. The mayor of Betterton, Monica Mayer, the mayor, Monica Mayer, was checking her town's sewage tank. She accidentally fell in and drowned in more than 15 feet of human waste.
Gross.
The Queen of Siam, now called Thailand, Sonata Kamaritina, however you say that, drowned when her boat collapsed. There were a lot of people present when the accident happened, but nobody saved her because they were forbidden to touch her. Oh, that's bad.
I'm sorry.
Somebody drowned because you ain't supposed to touch them. What are you going to do if you pull them out of the water and rescue them?
You're forbidden to touch them. You got to let them do their thing, I guess.
Well, pardon the hell out of me, buddy.
That's all right. Good luck with the next name.
Yeah, saw that. Hey, Gilia. Mutazano. I'm going to put it that way. A Russian woman woke up to find herself lying in a coffin at her own funeral and been wrongly declared dead. She was so shocked she actually died.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Can you imagine?
Sorry, they are. They are.
Can you imagine waking up at your own funeral and then dying from the shock that you're from?
If I wake up at my own damn funeral, I better be dead.
That's funny.
Basil Brown was such a fitness freak, he drank a gallon of carrot juice in a single day, thinking it will make him healthy, but it killed him. He died from drinking a gallon of carrot juice in a day.
Yeah.
Okay. That's new. Maria Pantazopoulos. Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
A newlywed bride from Montreal fell into a river and died during her wedding photo shoot.
Oh.
Well, I guess that could happen. Okay, one more real quick here. Greg Austin Gingrich was pretending to fall from the Grand Canyon. He lost his balance and actually fell.
Wow.
Now that's why I laugh at some of this. My brother, true story, my younger brother, the one right under me, was pretending to hang himself. He had a belt tied up, and it was like, we used to live in a big old two-story house, had the big wooden doors, you know. And he hung his belt over the top of the door. And he had it like, it was a really long belt, or a piece of rope he got somewhere, so I can't remember what he would actually use, but he had it tied to his belt loop in the back.
All right.
And it wrapped around his neck and then around his waist. And he was, pretending to be hanging himself when his belt loop broke, and it was actually hanging his stupid ass, and we had to go have my grandmother ran in there, and he'd done this 2 or 3 times faking, and my grandmother said, "You do that again, I ain't gonna come see about you." And he actually did it again, but it really happened, and at first she wasn't gonna go in there because she thought he was faking, and my sister looked at, he's choking, and she had to run in there and raise him up, get this thing off the door. Oh my God, it's a wonder we lived to be grown-ups.
All right, let's see. 1958 actor Gareth Jones was performing live in a play where his character was supposed to have a heart attack. He actually died of a heart attack during the play. The whole cast improvised around the event and finished the play.
Now, if that ain't just that's what you somebody go out with a bang, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, here's one. It was during it was during a gun safety class when Brian J. Perry shot himself accidentally.
Yeah, gun training classes. That's where you go to shoot yourself.
1982, a man called David Grunman was practicing close-range shots at a saguaro cactus. After a few shots, a heavy branch fell off the 26 feet tall cactus and crushed him to death.
Oh, wow.
Well, that one's a repeat. Let's see. Surinder Sai Bajwa, the deputy mayor of Delhi,
I know.
fell off a balcony trying to shoo away a monkeys in 2007.
Trying to shoo away monkeys, okay?
Yeah, he fell off his balcony. Frank Hayes, a jockey, won a race in New York even after dying. Here's how. He died of a heart attack midway, but since he was still mounted on the saddle, his horse made him win by crossing the finish line first. Oh.
Okay. You gotta win. You gotta win, you know.
Died of a heart attack, and he's still on the horse. But at least he came in first, so he still won after his death. The owner of a wool mill, Paul G. Thomas, fell inside one of his machines and died after getting suffocated by 800 yards of wool. Spontaneous combustion, basically Danny Van Zandt, his body just caught on fire. I mean, how many cases? You don't hear about that often, but spontaneous combustion does exist. And I got one more for you. In 1814, a brewery burst in London and caused the London beer flood. Over 3,500 barrels of beer flew down the streets, killing 8 people.
What they die from? Over drinking?
Well, you 3,500 barrels of beer, you get crushed. It's like, isn't it like tsunami?
I don't know, but I mean, if you gotta drown, you might as well drown from drinking too much beer.
Yeah.
Just saying. Oh boy, here we go. Tai Chu Bray, a Danish nobleman, refused to use the restroom while attending a banquet because it was considered impolite to leave before finishing your meal. He developed urinary complications and couldn't pee after that. He passed away 10 days later.
No.
I had to went to the damn bathroom. Gloria Ramirez, the 31-year-old patient who died in a mysterious and unusual way of death and was named the Toxic Lady on February 19, 1994. About 8:15 in the evening, Ramirez was rushed at the Riverside General Hospital, Riverside, California, suffering from acute cervical cancer and severe bradycardia. What is that? Resting of heart rate under 60 beats per minute, and Cheyenne Stokes respiration, abnormal pattern of breathing, and or gradual decrease resulting to temporary stop breathing called apine. Apine, how do you pronounce that? A staff nurse named Susan Kane drew blood from Ramirez for hospital procedure of a series of tests for laboratory purposes. Kane passed the syringe to Maureen Welch, a respiratory therapist, and smelled the ammonia scent. Thus, she passed the syringe to medical student Julie Gorkowski, or Korniski, however you pronounce that, who fainted after Kane and Welch, followed by other emergency staffs. They evacuated all emergency patients to a parking lot and some emergency personnel was left behind to attend to Ramirez. At 8:50 in the evening, Ramirez was pronounced dead from kidney failure. The strange cause of death was never known and still unsolved. How about that one? I remember reading about that. The death of Brandon Lee, son of Bruce Lee, was shot and killed accidentally while filming The Crow. Actor Michael Macy played the villain in this movie, who fired the gun with what was supposed to have been a blank bullet in it. But apparently it wasn't.
Yeah. Conspiracy.
Clara Bell Lansing, a flight stewardess of the Aloha Airlines Flight 243, a Boeing 737 flight, was sucked out when the central body of the airplane, where the wings and tail are attached, an area that accommodates the passengers, crew, and the cargoes, was tore off. Okay. One more time. Boris Sagal, more recently Ken Stephen, the Ukrainian-born American director for film and television, died after walking through the tail rotor blade of a helicopter while shooting World War III, and he was decapitated. Why would you walk through the tail rotor blade of a helicopter?
I don't know.
Just asking, okay?
Just asking.
Well, you know, I mean, I wake up every day. Y'all think I'll walk through the rotary blade of a helicopter? Why would you do that?
Maybe he didn't see it.
Well, that's true. He could have been looking off of there, holding his hands up, doing that, you know, that thing where you, yeah, this is the perfect shot right here. Possibly, I guess. Okay. On to you.
Victor Vic Morrow was an American actor, well known for his 1960s TV series Combat. Vic Morrow and child actors Micah Ding, 7 years old, and 6-year-old Renee Shinyi Chen died when a hovering helicopter crashed on them during the filming of Twilight Zone, the movie, on July 23, 1982, killing them instantly and decapitating Morrow. He died at 53 years old.
I like that movie too.
Nick Piantanida, a New Jersey truck driver, after 4 months in coma after his third failed to set a record of high altitude parachute jumping over 120,000 feet supersonic free fall on May 5th, 1966. His face mask depressurized at 57,000 feet. Lack of oxygen resulted in brain damage that put him into a coma until his death on August 29, 1966, 4 months after his tragic jump.
Okay, that's interesting enough.
Acton Beale, the 20-year-old guy from Brisbane, Australia, who died from the trend of planking on the porch of his apartment, landed on an SUV.
Oh.
So what was he, like, pretending to, like, plank, and, like, he actually fell off and he landed on his SUV and died?
Yes, I don't know. Let's
Here's one. In 2006, a Canadian woman choked on marshmallows at a fair while taking part in Chubby Bunny contest and later died in the hospital. Although there were medical personnel at the scene with suction equipment, it is believed that their efforts at resuscitation were hampered by the stickiness of the marshmallows. So I guess they couldn't get the marshmallows up.
Didn't want to suck out the marshmallow?
Nope.
Okay.
2005, 28-year-old Korean Lee Sung-soo.
28-year-old.
Yeah, that was a repeat. 28-year-old Korean Lee.
33-year-old.
That's a repeat.
Yeah.
Gotcha. 2005, 28-year-old Korean Lee Sung-soo collapsed in an
That's
internet
not
cafe after playing World of Warcraft and StarCraft for almost 50 hours.
Well, that's what you get when you have a bowl of soup and they're playing World of Warcraft. Okay.
All right, I get one more for you. 2003, Timothy Treadwell, an American environmentalist who had lived in the wilderness among bears for 13 summers in a remote portion of Alaska, was killed and partially consumed by bears, as was his girlfriend, Amy Hungenard. The incident is chronicled in the documentary film Grizzly Man
Wow. So he lives with them up there
and dies with him.
for 13 summers, and they don't bother him, and then all of a sudden they decide they're hungry and they eat it.
Yeah.
Okay, works for me. 1997, David Bailey, an Irish man, died when he was urinated on by a rat.
Sorry. Go ahead.
The little fellow walking up there, you just pissed me off, buddy. Urinated on by a rat while attempting to retrieve a lost golf ball. Bailey apparently startled the rat and pissed him off, causing it to dart up his pant leg and urinate on him. After the incident, Bailey's companions urged him to immediately shower, but Bailey refused, stating that he had no bites or scratches. He died 2 weeks later from kidney failure brought on by an acute case of leptospirosis.
You only imagine.
Is that Chinese for being pissed on?
Well, obviously the rat had something.
Okay. Yeah, obviously. 1996, Richard Versailles suffered a heart attack on stage at the New York Metropolitan Opera after delivering the line, "Too bad you can only live so long," during a performance of the Macaropolis case. Okay. Works for me. 1991, Red Fox, Fred Sanford, an American TV actor and comedian, died during a rehearsal on the set of the CBS sitcom The Royal Family from a heart attack. As a faked heart attack was a frequent gag used in Fox's previous TV series Sanford and Son, the rest of the cast thought he was joking around at first. I can see that, yeah. Okay, one more for you. 1985, Kirill Sokik, whatever. He's a daredevil. Was fatally wounded attempting to recreate his successful 1984 plunge over Niagara Falls. Sokik staged a fundraising stunt in the Houston Astrodome, the crux of which was having him in his capsule dropped 180 feet into a tank of water. The falling capsule hit the rim of the tank, causing the injuries from which he would die the next day. Oh, well, they should have aimed at something better.
All right. 1911, Jack Daniel, founder of the famous Tennessee whiskey distillery, died of blood poisoning from a toe injury he received after kicking his safe in anger when he could not remember its combination code.
Okay.
2012, Edward Archbold, 32, of West Palm Beach, Florida, U.S., died after winning a cockroach eating contest.
Hello.
The cause of death was determined to be accidental choking due to arthropod body parts. Yeah, I'm all set with that.
Oh, good God.
One of the history's most famous detectives was Alan Pinkerton. His agency was known for its uncanny ability to solve mysteries, but it was no mystery how Pinkerton died. One day in 1884, Pinkerton fell, biting his tongue as he did so. An infection set in, and 3 weeks later, he died from gangrene.
Wow. You know, they were after Billy the Kid and all them.
2008, Miami University student Aaron Miller died when he fell out of bed. I'm sorry. To be fair, his bed was 6 feet off the ground, so that might have contributed to the fatal injury sustained. While they may not seem like very large drop, it depends on how you fall and whether you land on your head.
Who would want their bed 6 foot off the freaking ground?
I do. I like being up high. I had 4 or 5 mattresses at one
Horse,
point.
you didn't want to be down there where crawly critters could get to you.
I like being up high.
Well, 6 feet's a little bit much, ain't it?
Well, I have 4 mattresses on my bed, so I'm up high.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
throwing it out there. All right. Let's see. Normally, you would think that a healthy activity like jogging would prolong your life. However, in 2009, case of Philadelphia woman, jogging proved fatal. She was exercising in Fairmount Park when a branch fell on her. The branch was 30 feet long and fell from a height of 50 feet. The sad thing is, this might have been prevented if the woman hadn't been listening to music through headphones. She would have heard the branch breaking and been able to avoid being hit.
Right. That makes sense.
Huh? Thank you. All right, and I got one more for you here. Most people today wouldn't think that a coat would make a good parachute, but in 1912, inventor Franz Rehfeldt gave it a try. He created a parachute out of an overcoat. Reinhardt had wanted to create a suit for those who had to leave an aircraft unexpectedly. The wearable parachute would save lives, so he thought. Rehfeldt decided to test the design from the Eiffel Tower. However, instead of using a dummy, as he told authorities he would, he tested the parachute on himself. The parachute was a failure, and he fell to his death.
Oh. Okay, this is the last one, and we got some facts for you. The first robot to kill a human looked nothing like the humanoids in the Will Smith movie. Robot. Instead, the robot was the kind used to assemble cars in a factory. Robert Williams died on the job in a Ford Motor casting plant in 1979 when the robot arm hit him. What made this death especially weird was that it occurred on the 58th anniversary of the play RUR about Rossum's Universal Robots, which is considered the first use of the word robot to describe an artificial person. How about that? Okay, death facts. We got a few of those. Within 3 days of death, the enzymes that once digested your dinner began to digest you. Interesting, huh? Yeah. The practice of burying the dead may date back 350,000 years. About 100 billion people have died in all human history. More people commit suicide in New York City than are murdered. About 153,000 people will die on your birthday. Think about that. Happy birthday to me. I'm sorry. Okay. Go through the next bunch for us.
Doctor sloppy handwriting kills more than 7,000 people annually. That's a good one.
Wow.
Truth. Left-handers die 3 years earlier than right-handed people.
That's interesting.
When a person dies, his sense of hearing is the last to go.
Frank Leeson, the Terminator, took a job at Ford.
Every hour, at least one person is killed by a drunk driver in the U.S.
Now that I'll buy.
Mount Everest has about 200 dead bodies on it, which are now landmarks on the way to the top.
Are you kidding me?
Nope, it's a fact. Every 40 seconds, someone commits suicide.
That's a lot of people.
Yes, it is. Every 40 seconds, that is definitely a lot of people. Sharks kill 12 people per year, while people kill 11,417 sharks per hour. Wow. The creator of the Pringles packaging had his ashes stored in a Pringles can after he died.
Now that is interesting.
Why not, right? And 80% of all Soviet males born in 1923 died in World War II. So go ahead with the next bunch.
Interesting stuff, you guys. You'd be amazed to learn some of these facts like I am, because a lot of this stuff I didn't know. You're more likely to die slipping in the bathtub, getting struck by lightning, or drowning in the bathtub than from terrorism. Well, at least for now. Every 90 seconds, one woman dies during pregnancy or childbirth. 35 million of your cells die every minute.
Wow.
That's a lot of cells.
That's very much.
Crucifixion is still an official form of death penalty in Sudan. Americans die each year from falling out of bed, especially if it's 6 foot off the ground. Just saying. Beach drivers are 78% more likely to die in a car crash. You are more likely to die in the taxi cab on the way to and from the airport than on the flight itself. 20,000 children die worldwide every day due to poverty. Now that I believe. We are born with over 270 bones and die with 206.
Where do those bones go?
No shit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I watched an episode of Grimm today where this guy was sucking bones out of a body. That's where they went. That's where they went. I knew it. It was Vincent. One woman dies every hour in India because of dowry-related crimes.
Okay. As many as 440,000 people die from preventable medical errors every year. In London, it is illegal to die in the House of Parliament. It's illegal to die in the House of Parliament. What happens if you drop dead? I mean, it's illegal to die. You're dead.
So if you're going to die, you better hope you do it outside, huh?
In Greek mythology, it was.
I'm dying.
In Greek mythology, it was believed that redheads turn into vampires when they die.
I believe it. They're mean.
Nearly 6,000 people per year get hurt or die in the UK after tripping over their trousers or falling downstairs while pulling them up.
Okay.
The lack of physical activity is one of the leading causes of preventable deaths worldwide. At least 1 in 25 people sentenced to death penalty in the U.S. are innocent.
I'll buy that one.
1 in every 8 deaths on Earth are linked to air pollution, a study says. There's a Rent a Mourner service in the UK to fill your funeral with fake friends.
Okay, now that's just...
Vending machines kill 13 people per year. And estimates for the total number of people killed in wars throughout all of human history range from 150 million to 1 billion.
I'll buy that. You know, I thought about when my kids were growing up, they were being little shitheads, and everybody was talking about, oh, your kids are so nice. You got the wrong kids, lady. You know, I was thinking, yeah, I need to start a rent-a-kid agency. I'll just rent them out. You know, so if you ain't got a kid, you want to go to a family picnic, you know, I'll rent you one. Just a thought, but anyway, it didn't pan out. In 2013, Google founded Calico, an anti-aging company designed to ultimately cure death. That's interesting. There is a gypsy tribe in India that celebrates death as one of the happiest events in their lives while treating birth with great grief.
Wow.
A human head remains conscious for about 15 to 20 seconds after it has been decapitated. Wow. So
That's crazy.
if you
15
cut
to
my
20
hand,
seconds is a long
you
time.
or do you understand?
It's a
Okay.
long time.
In 1845, President Andrew Jackson's pet parrot was removed from his funeral for swearing.
Oh, man. The life we live.
Gotta love
All
it.
right.
Okay, where was I? The parrot was swearing. When Thomas Edison died in 1941, Henry Ford captured his last dying breath in a bottle. How fucking creepy is that? I'm sorry, pardon my. That's creepy.
That's funny.
Guinness invented the electric chair.
Yep.
A murder is committed in the U.S. every 23 minutes, which makes about 22,852 murders each year. In 1992, approximately 750 deaths occur in the U.S. due to workplace violence. A body decomposes 4 times as fast in water than on land. Ancient Egyptians shaved off their eyebrows to mourn the death of their cats.
All right.
I know they worship cats and stuff. They thought cats were like gods or something.
Nutmeg is extremely poisonous. If it did intravenously, it can kill you. I don't know why you'd want to inject nutmeg.
Right, right.
Only 1 in 2 billion people will live to be 116 years or older. Cockroaches can live for 9 days without their heads, at which point they die of starvation.
I believe that. You can't kill them some bitches.
Oh, crazy. In Irwin, Tennessee, an elephant was once hanged for murder.
An elephant was hanged for murder.
Yes. About what? Yep.
Remind me to write my congressman.
About 100 people choke to death on ballpoint pens each year.
I buy that.
Oh, I remember this one. In 2006, a woman was found in her London flat skeletonized after 3 years of being dead with her TV still running. Now, it raises questions about electricity and how they shut electricity off, but I remember that.
Now, unless somebody was paying her bills, you know, when they did, but you would think somebody would have checked on her before then.
No, you'd think, but who knows? The first man to survive going over Niagara Falls later died from slipping on an orange peel. Yep, that we know. In Utah, it is illegal to swear in front of a dead person. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Although Nostradamus died in the middle of 1566 or 1567, Almanac was published because he had the foresight to prepare it before his death.
Okay.
If your liver stopped working, you die within 24 hours. And you are more likely to be killed by a champagne cork than by a poisonous spider. Well, that's good because I hate spiders.
There's champagne corks. Okay. Please have the distinction of killing more people than all the wars man has ever fought. The Black Death Plague killed 1/4 of Europe's population in the 14th century, caused by germs transmitted from rodents to humans by fleas. The animal response, and that's what caused the not. They might have been fleas. That caused the yellow fever epidemic that almost wiped where I live out before it ever got started. Anyway, uh, the animal responsible for the most human deaths worldwide is the mosquito. That's what it was, I think. But it came in on trains from out of Memphis. The male praying mantis cannot copulate while its head is attached to its body. The female initiates sex by ripping the male's head off. Reminds me of that post I saw where the one praying mantis, the other one's got his head ripped off, and he goes, "You slept with her, didn't you?"
Yeah.
Okay. The life expectancy in 1900 was just 47 years.
That's crazy.
On average, women have always lived longer than men. On average, people fear spiders more than they do death.
That's me right there.
Human hair and fingernails continue to grow after death. I knew that. Your statistical chance of being murdered is 1 in 20,000. There are 5 times as many deaths due to the negligence of doctors as there are deaths due to firearms. I'll buy that one. Robert Hershey of Hershey chocolate fame died when he fell into a vat of chocolate and drowned. I didn't know that.
Dr. Alice Chase, who wrote Nutrition for Health and numerous books on the science of proper eating, died of malnutrition. Adolf Hitler's mother seriously considered having an abortion but was talked out of it by her doctor.
Where's that damn doctor? I'm going to kill him being dead.
When Mahatma Gandhi died, an autopsy revealed that his small intestines contained 5 gold Krugerrands.
Krugerrands?
Krugerrands?
Krugerrands? I don't know.
No. Robert Todd Lincoln, son of Abraham Lincoln, was present at the assassination of 3 presidents, his father's, President Garfield's, and President McKinley's. After the last shooting, he refused ever to attend a state affair again. When Mark Twain was born on November 30th, 1835, Halley's Comet was visible over Florida, Missouri. Mark Twain predicted in 1909 that he would die when it returned. He was right. When he died on April 21st, 1910, Halley's Comet was once again visible in the sky.
Wow.
The last rat-borne plague epidemic in the United States occurred in Los Angeles in 1924 and 25. In the United States, during 1980s plague cases averaged about 18 per year. Most of the cases occurred in persons under 20 years of age. Burials in America deposit 827,060 gallons of embalming fluid, formaldehyde, menthol, and ethanol into the soil each year. Cremation pumps dioxins, hydrochloric acid, sulfur dioxide, and carbon dioxide into the air. Well, that's not good.
No.
Each year in America, there are about 300,000 deaths that can be attributed to obesity.
I'll buy that one.
You can still be mummified, but it comes with a $67,000 price tag.
Dang!
I know, right? And the Buddhist priest and mystic Kakaya, who died on April 23rd, 835, is believed by his followers to become a Buddha in his own body by mummifying himself while still alive.
Okay.
Now, if you want to do the last couple, we'll just end there and call it a night.
Okay, 1 pound of body weight will yield roughly 1 cubic inch of ashes. Your ashes can be made into lead for a pencil that will be used to draw your portrait.
Wow.
How are they going to draw your portrait if you're already burned and your ashes are in the damn pencil? I just got to ask. The items most requested to be buried with the body are cell phones and Blackberries. You know, I want you to bury me with my cell phone because I might have to make an urgent call when I get on the other side. You know, somebody have to reach. You can be buried at sea in a living coral reef. That's interesting. Near desert.
We're gonna stop there because we only have 5 minutes. So, but it's been a great night. Thank you, Roger. I had fun tonight.
This was a blast. I love some of this stuff was really so stupid it was hilarious, and some of it was just funny. Period. I'm sorry I hated to have to laugh about some of it, but it was funny.
I hope everyone else enjoyed the night.
I hope you guys all like the show. I think we have vampires and werewolves and stuff next week.
Yeah, we do. We have vampires, werewolves, and zombies.
Vampires, werewolves, and zombies next week, folks. I always pictured myself as kind of a werewolf type, you know, or Sasquatch, whichever one comes first.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, loads and loads of fun, you guys. We appreciate everybody that was in chat there making some funny and hilarious comments over there. I noticed every now and then. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it, buddy. Frank says awesome show.
Awesome. Thank you,
Awesome.
Frank.
Man, ever since the Whiskers thing, I can't talk right now. Oh my God, that was funny. Thanks, Margaret. We appreciate it. And we got about 5 minutes. Do you guys have any questions or anything you want to ask while we're still here? Thanks, Mary. We appreciate it.
Oh, well,
I don't know who all's still over here, but Frank is here, and Mary's still here, Margaret's still here, Paul's still here.
yeah,
Ashley
Ashlyn.
Paranormal's still here. Thank you,
Thank you
Ashley.
all.
We appreciate it.
It has been a great night. Good night to everybody. Good night to you, Roger.
Good night to you. And we will see you guys next Monday, same time.
Night, everybody.